You're not really ready until you're safe. Summer safely and drive calm.
If you have hearing loss and need captions to understand phone calls, Caption Call is your answer. Caption Call works just like a regular phone, but with easy-to-read captions of what the other person is saying. To learn more, visit captioncall.com/sound advice. Understanding phone calls has never been easier with Caption Call.
All-day resource for critical breaking news, traffic and weather, and conversation about Utah's most important stories. Listen on any smart speaker, the KSL News Radio app, and in your car at 102.7 FM. KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City, KSL News Radio, Utah's all-day companion for news.
Good afternoon, 4 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. We have sunshine, smoke, and 93 degrees. KSL's top story, the smoke that's shrouding the sunshine this afternoon. All those tiny smoke particles can be hazardous to your health. Most hazardous. KSL News Radio's Nick Wyatt begins our team coverage.
The smoke from wildfires is stuff you really don't want to be breathing. U.S. Air Quality Index says it includes volatile organic compounds, carbon dioxide and monoxide, hydrocarbons, and more. It's all microscopic, so it's easy to absorb into your lungs, and that can cause problems for people with underlying respiratory issues like asthma, and it can even exacerbate cardiovascular diseases.
Most healthy adults can recover quickly from exposure to wildfire smoke, but vulnerable populations should avoid it completely if possible. Meantime, University of Utah has developed a way to tell how badly the smoke will affect you. KSL News Radio's Paul Nelson has the story.
Researchers say it all depends on how high the smoke is. The lower the smoke, the more likely it is to become a health risk. Lead author, Professor Heather Holmes, says once it goes low enough into the atmospheric boundary layer, it'll mix into the air we breathe. So they've developed a way to see how far up the smoke will go vertically and combine that with the weather system to help them predict where the smoke is going to land.
The model allows researchers to create a smoke level forecast and warn people about upcoming unhealthy days. You may still be burned out from the election of 2020, but there are several local elections happening next week in Utah. KSL News Radio's Lindsay Aerts reports many cities have primary elections.
In Weber County, there are primaries for 2 North Ogden City Council seats. Ogden City has 2 seats as well. So does Washington Terrace, and the West Haven mayor's post is up for grabs. In Davis County, there's a primary for Bountiful's mayor and some city council seats. Same in Centerville. 23 cities have actually opted out of the primary in order to do ranked choice voting in the November general election.
Salt Lake City is one of those cities. They have 5 open city council seats. Some school districts in Florida are mandating kids wear masks as they head back to school. Maria Chaleos is live at the KSL National News Desk.
Jeff, 2 districts are requiring masks as their areas face a dramatic rise in coronavirus infections. That despite Governor Ron DeSantis' ban on masks. The governor is telling a crowd today that parents shouldn't be forced to mask their children.
People are going to be free to choose to make their own decisions about themselves, about their families, about their kids' education, and about putting food on the table.
The CDC recommends that both students and staff should mask up again for the upcoming school year due to the highly contagious Delta variant. The new limited eviction ban is only slightly different from the one the Supreme Court said the president could not extend, and it's likely to face a court fight. But White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the moratorium will temporarily allow millions of families to stay in their homes.
This is also going to be a temporary solution regardless, and longer-term solution will require legislative action.
Psaki says it will buy time to get billions in already approved rent aid to renters who need it. Record-setting heat and high winds are fueling wildfires across parts of Europe. ABC's Inez de la Cotera is in Greece, where thousands of residents have had to leave their homes as crews battle the flames near Athens.
And helicopters still working, firefighters still working to put out blazes in some parts, just working overtime.
The heat is fueling fires around the Mediterranean, with Italy, Albania, Turkey also seeing fires. Live from the KSL National News Desk, I'm Maria Chaleos, KSL News Radio.
A sobering COVID forecast today from the nation's top infectious disease expert.
In an interview with McClatchy, Dr. Anthony Fauci said the recent rise in COVID cases isn't slowing down, and he predicts the U.S. will once again see between 100,000 and 200,000 new cases each day before we hit another peak. He says this gives the virus ample opportunity to mutate again and perhaps form a variant worse than Delta. He urged people to get vaccinated, saying that those who are not vaccinated are mistaken in thinking that it's, quote, only about them. He says their decisions affect everyone. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
Senator Mike Lee is among a handful of Republican colleagues now voicing opposition to the infrastructure bill. Senator Lee says the $1.2 trillion bill is not paid for, despite claims that it is.
The fact that something is bipartisan doesn't mean that it makes sense for the American people. It doesn't mean that it won't be harming poor and middle-class Americans in order to give more money to an already bloated federal government.
Senator Mitt Romney helped craft the bill. He has said the bill is good for Utah and good for the country. The cost of health care is going up because scammers are fleecing taxpayer-funded Medicare. KSL News Radio's Mary Richards explains.
The former U.S. Attorney for Utah, John Huber, told the David Ujanovic Show that telemarketers call up the older generation. They start talking about aches and pains, talk them into a product they say could be paid for by Medicare, like a knee brace that's only maybe $30 at the store. Instead, Medicare gets billed thousands of dollars. And the problem is when someone in the medical field team uses their license to sign off on it.
2 nurse practitioners in Montana were sentenced this week for conspiring to defraud Medicare out of millions of dollars with one of these schemes. KSL News Time 4:06. Ricky Meese is watching the rush, and how are we doing?
We are starting to see delays ease a bit northbound I-15 from 3500 south into downtown now that a camper trailer is out of traffic at about 1300 south on the shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Thank you, Ricky. Coming up, the perfect story, perfect for the dog days of summer. My Minute of News is on the way next on KSL. Stay right here.